So I don't know if you've seen, but this week Pac-Man World Repack is out, which is a remake of a game that came out 23 years ago, which itself was released to mark the 20th anniversary of Pac-Man. So naturally, here at the Rookies Workbench, there seems to be no better way to celebrate these momentous milestones than to remind ourselves that just like Pac-Man, we're all getting older and slowly edging our way to the gaping void of death. So to start, we'll use this tightly scrunched up ball of tinfoil as the core for the main man himself. Then we'll wrap it up all snug-like in Super Sculpey. And just like some people I know, Pac-Man's mouth seems to take up the majority of his body, so we best start with that. Once we've cut out and sculpted his huge gob, we'll give him some malicious soul-searching eyes. We'll move on to making and installing his frankly massive tongue, which is actually based off a sprite animation from Pac-Man 2. Now, to make sure I got this tongue as minging as possible, I had to do a Google search for diseased tongues, which was nasty to say the least. So let it never be said that I don't do anything for you guys. Once we've got all the warts and craters suitably sculpted onto the tongue, we'll slap on some white spirit which will blend and smooth those features off a little bit. Next up, we'll move on to his sneakers, and because Pac-Man has been in a perpetual state of chasing and running away from ghosts for 40 odd years, he's understandably let himself go a little bit, so he no longer ties his shoelaces, he's given up on self-grooming. Kinda sounds familiar.
That should sound familiar. It sounds just like you.
What's that, Mrs. Workbench? I didn't quite hear that. Anyway, I've got no time to talk about marital bliss because I need to start painting Pac-Man. And while his nice shade of jaundice yellow is drying, we'll move on to making the base. And to do this, we'll use some craft foam that's been beaten within an inch of its life with a ball of tinfoil to give it a rough texture, painted black, and then dry brushed with some white paint. Then we'll add some blue and green markings, which hopefully will give it the suggestion of being one of the original mazes from the original games. And now that Pac-Man's dry, we can go on to painting on some more details not only onto him, but also his tongue, which at this point should really be a character of its own. And I'm sure you'll agree that no Pac-Man diorama would be complete without something for the little yellow blob to chase. So off camera I made a little ghost friend for him out of Super Sculpey, and now we're gonna make a mold of it using a 2-part putty. Once the mold is dry, we can add some tinted epoxy resin to it, which when cured should give a nice translucent effect.
The next day.
Let's see how he looks. Not too bad. A few air bubbles, but we'll say that was intentional. So we'll just give him a pass over with the Dremel, paint his eyes and mouth a nice shade of petrified white, and then make some dust clouds to hopefully give the impression that he's legging it away from Pac-Man. At this stage, Pac-Man's tongue is not looking moist enough, so we'll give it a coat in this Duraclear gloss varnish. Then just to take his slobber situation to the next level, we'll smother his tongue in UV resin. Then there's nothing left to do but add our party to the base. Oh, and add a huge saliva trail using more UV resin. And with that done, it was time to take it off of the workbench and put it into the lightbox. Thanks again guys for watching the video. I hope it wasn't too disturbing for you. If you did get some enjoyment out of it, no matter how small, please smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So until the next one, as always, cheers and have a good one.